Hey everyone, Tika here. Wanted to post a blog. I hadn't posted a blog in a very, very long time. And so I wanted to post a blog on a question that I actually get quite often from family, from friends, uh, co workers, even just young people who are in a place of singlehood and have questions on marriage. And so I wanted to post a very quick video on some things that I've learned in my first few years of marriage. So I'm 24 and I've been married 3.5 years now. I have a beautiful marriage, so I can actually speak to someone. You're not getting it from your girlfriend who's having a horrible marriage trying to give you marriage advice. This is not the case. But I've been trained in different areas. My husband and I, we've been trained to kind of be facilitators for couples who are going through marital conflict. We've had a lot of friends in our life who've had marital conflict. I told someone the other day I can give you the names of 8 couples, eight. No exaggeration there. I can literally give you the names of 8 couples who got married the same year as us and they are divorced. Many of them were divorced within the first year of marriage. So that tells you that marriage is challenging. It's not easy. It's not for everybody to just jump up into unprepared. And so I wanted to talk about some things that I've seen that bring about marital conflict. Again, I am young, so I'm a millennial. It's a millennial perspective. I also am a believer, so there's a Christian perspective as well. But some things that I've seen, and maybe some things that might help individuals who are single, not only single women, but single men as well, better prepare themselves to enter into a covenant of marriage, which is a lifelong commitment. So, first thing I wanted to talk about is when my husband and I were doing facilitation and going through preparation to facilitate marriage groups, one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of the couples who were like at the brink of divorce were really, really broken. And it wasn't that they were broken when they got married, it was that they were broken prior to marriage. They had broken childhoods, they had experienced a lot of abuse, violence, mistreatment, and they were broken individuals when they met their spouses, who oftentimes were also broken individuals with different backgrounds and different childhoods, or similar backgrounds and similar childhoods. A lot of times you bond with someone because you've both had the experience of being abused or mistreated in a relationship or in your childhood, and so that'll connect you. But these people were broken prior to their marriage, and they never did anything about it to fix what was going on. They never dealt with it. And because of that, they married and they brought about brokenness into a marriage. So the marriage was broken. And the Bible talks about this in Matthew 19. It says that a man will leave his father and his mother, and he'll cleave to his wife, and the two will become one. And so, even if only one of you are broken, when you become one, you both join into this broken covenant, essentially. And what I saw from it was that they were broken, never dealing with any issues, birthing children into generations of brokenness, and it was just a mess. And so, one of my suggestions to those who are single is really don't rush it. You have to get yourself ready. And if you're dealing with things, it might not be anything that you find severe, it might not be abuse or anything of that nature, but maybe you spend too much money. You might get married to somebody who is a saver and you're a spender, and that will create conflict. Maybe it is that you were mistreated in a relationship. Now you have a lack of trust. Maybe you were intimately abused, and now you're going to bring that into your marriage, and you're going to have some issues being intimate with your partner. And so I would write down a list of things that you may be struggling with individually and say, how can I start preparing myself to overcome some of these challenges, some of the past memories, the past hurts, the past pains, the past relationships, and get myself together so that I can be prepared for whoever my spouse may be. And I know it's cliche and I know it sounds simple and everyone says, oh, get yourself prepared. But I'm telling you, the more that you have yourself together and the more that you deal with the things of the past and the less baggage that you can bring into your marriage, I mean, it really helps tremendously. And we all are going to bring something into the marriage. We're not perfect, and it's not realistic to think that you're going to come in perfect and that your spouse is going to be perfect and that you're going to have a perfect marriage, because that's just not how it works. But the reality is, the better that you can deal with some of those things that you might be challenged with now, the better your marriage will be. So that's just, I mean, again, this is just my personal experiences and advice. Another thing that I was going to mention is that when you get into marriage, you realize that marriage is not really about your you marrying the perfect spouse and just having a happy life. Marriage reveals a lot about you and your character as an individual, and you're not gonna like that. You're just not. What I've learned is a lot about myself. When I first got married, I learned that I was selfish. Like, I wanted to keep my money. I wanted to spend it on what I wanted to spend it on. I did not want to budget it. I didn't want to allocate it to certain things. It's like, come on, this is my paycheck. I just want to. So you really learn different things about yourself that you probably did not know, or maybe you did know. And that's one of the things you should put on your list to work on. But it really reveals a lot about you. And so while you want to play the blame game a lot of the times and blame your partner for a lot of the issues that you are encountering in a marriage, you need to take a look at yourself and say, hey, what can I do better? So the first thing that I wanted to mention to you all in your singlehood state is, one, singlehood is a gift, and we see Paul talk about that. He talks about it in 1 Corinthians 7:7. He also talks about it in Matthew 19, and he says he wishes that everyone was like him, that they could be single, but that's not realistic for everyone. However, it is a gift, and he says some are blessed with this gift. And so while you may not want to have that gift forever, while you're in that position of singlehood, really try to utilize it to help others, and also find contentment in that state, because it's a gift from God. And so we want to enjoy the gift from God while we have to be in that particular state, and that'll just help us prepare for the gift of marriage. That second part I was going to mention, learn contentment. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 4:11, and it's Paul talking about how he's learned contentment. He says, not that I was ever in need, for I have learned how to be content with whatever I have had, whatever I have. And then he goes on to say, I know how to live on almost nothing or with everything. I've learned the secret of living in every situation, whether it was with a full stomach or empty, with plenty or little. For I can do everything through Christ who gives me strength. And so when you learn contentment, which can be challenging, which I did a blog on this a few months ago about learning contentment. Contentment is hard, especially in this generation that we're living in with social media. We're seeing our friends progress in their careers and their families and their marriages and their lives. And we see where we are, and we're comparing and contrasting all the time. But if you can get that art of contentment, if you can master that art of, look, I understand I'm single, I haven't found the right person for me yet, I don't want to waste my time continuing to get hurt. I don't want to continue opening myself up to people who could care less, that I'm giving them the honor of me opening up to them. So really learn contentment. And if you learn contentment, I think that that'll take you the whole way until you're meet the spouse, meet the person of your dreams that you can go into marriage with. And again, last thing I was going to say is prepare yourself because you're talking about a lifetime commitment. Everybody wants it. It looks beautiful in the movies. It looks beautiful on the pictures that everybody posts on Instagram, but they are only showing you one side of the story. And so you have to really understand that you're marrying somebody who grew up differently than you, who has different opinions than you, maybe different values, different morals in certain areas than you. You're marrying somebody who is not you. So they're not going to act like you. And so you are going to have conflict and tension. So I just wanted to kind of give some advice, and if you all want more, it's a lot to learn, especially in these first few years. I have a lot more to give. So I hope that you guys kind of like this blog, and I'm going to include a couple more scriptures that I thought were essential to a topic like this. With that being said, thank you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope y'all enjoyed. Oh, I gotta show y'all my shirt. Too much purpose to be petty. However, if you know me, it should say purposeful, but still petty. Bye, y'all.